Do you see? Do you see the fat cat? The fat cat! Is that the cartoon you were looking for? He likes to eat lasagna? Hmm? But here's the problem. Because there's no follow up and there's no confirmation, and because you're using me and my work and some sort of derivative, I don't know what you thought all of that meant. But within the last 72 hours, I looked at an old notice that had been sent to me from the office of the White House during 2019 after I contacted the White House. See, every time I've tried to contact a member of Congress or a member of the Senate, I don't get an official response. As a matter of fact, I've only ever gotten 2 responses from the actual senators. Right? Do you remember what they were? They were both from the senators of Texas. Right? What did they say? What did they do? They sent me a boilerplate statement on a specific issue. But that's not what the concern is here. I contacted the White House. The White House did the same thing everybody else did. They put me on their mailing list. Every time they send you a message from their office, there's a transaction. Some people are a little more forthcoming than others. For instance, a member of the Intel committee will send you a transaction record with the actual email. Another senator from another assignment, also potentially on the same committee, will send you a journal, a digest. It also references videos that they've put up on YouTube. Somebody else makes sure they only contact you with things specific to military training academies. There's trends. Now, if you get bounced down the road and somebody literally steals your email, then you have all of those transaction records that were the actual transactions run on you and your accounts by those actual senators and those actual members of Congress. It's evidence, but it's also possibly taxable income for somebody. Who? I mean, it's not being recirculated back into the federal budget, is it? You don't mean that that's a part of the manner in which they might actually address reconciliation of an appropriations process, do you? You don't think that things that they put into their emails they send to you, even if you get put on an automated list you never requested to be put on, you don't think that might be, what is that, intelligence? Due diligence? Are they responding as a official performance of their ministerial duties, or are they a market participant trying to solicit your attention and then maybe see if you might drop their name in the case you want to maybe put a bid in for a contract being offered through one of the specific areas that's under their jurisdiction, whether it be in their state or under their committee jurisdiction? You don't think they would do that, do you? You don't think they would, do you? You don't think they would do that and keep some sort of hedge fund for themselves personally that they might use as part of their upward mobility or part of something that either they or their family do outside of their official job functions as a member of elected office? I don't think anybody would do anything like that. But I think that when they send you something as part of an automated mailing list and you're able somehow to keep it, I don't have anything any of the senators sent me. I don't have anything that any of the Congress people sent me. I only have what the office of the White House sent me. I only have what the president sent me. And so within the last 72 hours, I thought of a specific email that was sent to me from the office of the White House. Why? Because I was investigating pension fraud, and I was concerned there might be evidence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. October 25th, 2019. You don't think that would have any relevance right now? Trump announces permanent ceasefire in Syria and will release Turkey from sanctions. Behold the Lord High Impeacher. Wall Street Journal article regarding Adam Schiff. Melania Trump makes first solo visit to Capitol Hill. It's a middle class boom, how Americans are really doing under the Trump economy. Trump touts jobs, industry at Marcellus Shale Conference in Pittsburgh. I don't know what you guys thought you were going to get with that 5. But unfortunately, if you're using me and my accounts, this is what you get. Is this what you wanted? See, because that third one, the I, that was already excluded. Right? Melania Trump makes first solo visit to Capitol Hill. Unfortunately, that one was already excluded. It's 20%. Right? Hedges to me. But the big problem we've got here is the 16. Because what's happened within the last 48 hours? China, or rather the People's Republic of China. The National People's Committee. I didn't know that's what they called themselves until within the last 48 hours. And apparently they've passed legislation regarding sanctions and responses to sanctions. Now, if you read the news articles in English, it says one thing. I was able to find a source that identified itself as being officially connected to the National People's Committee of China, saying that there was both an executive order, or the equivalent of an executive order, but then there was also legislation that was passed by the NPC. And among the matters connected to or concerning this legislation were the fact that there were 16 requirements set forth, 16 separate matters that were directly addressed in this legislative package. Now, if we're talking about an illegal currency or an illegal, or rather non-legal tender, then we can run into some serious problems. And that brings up what's really going on, which is that by tomorrow there would be a default in some regards, including one at the highest level of risk possible. My contention is that as the Attorney General, I've already covered that, but for whatever reason, other people insist on maintaining this charade that these individuals that did not, by the way, get democratically elected in the last election or the election before that, and have engaged in egregious violations of both the Texas Constitution and the federal Constitution, and have been intentionally doing things to leverage the default of the state of Texas to their advantage and the advantage of other people, including people they publicly attempt to convince people are somehow in opposition to them or are available for reproach by them. Despite all of these things, somebody else insists on acknowledging them and acknowledging Ken Paxton as the Attorney General. So it ends up looking like, and the balance is that Texas has defaulted. And insofar as there are entities that are doing business with the state of Texas under a false mirage that Ken Paxton is the Attorney General, and that as the Attorney General, because nobody has thus far exercised an injunction, removed him from office, and addressed appropriately the unconstitutional legislation concerning the special privilege of the Attorney General in brokering contracts with the state of Texas and keeping the terms and other information confidential. And because nobody's successfully dealt with the fact that Texas currently has unconstitutional legislation regarding confidentiality of cases against political subdivisions, because there is this false reality where the people who did that are the legitimate government, it ends up looking like a default. And because it ends up looking like a default, then there is all of this opportunity for somebody to try to launder their money and cover up their crime by doing things like what I've basically been covering all day, right? But as of June 13th, 2021, which, as I've already acknowledged, would be the anniversary of reports to both an international regulatory agency, but also to the Securities and Exchange Commission here in the United States, That will be 10 days before a 1 year anniversary on a major conference that occurred in Asia. Citigroup had a major Asian banking conference that began on June 23rd of 2020. I tracked it. I made videos about how I tracked it. See, that would have been a good time for one of the three countries that has three banking branches to have taken assertive action, especially one that I think has a disproportionate burden of proof. And perhaps, if they felt inclined, for the People's Republic of China itself to take action concerning alleged banking establishments associated with Citigroup within their own country. See, had they done that, then there would have potentially been a possibility for that to create the kind of leverage needed to shut down their operations within the United States. I'm sorry, you guys insisted. And you went to the secondary market, which puts it in a foreign theater and not eligible for sanctions in the United States. It falls to China. What's China gonna do? I've had all the evidence I needed for 10 days short of a year. China time. Syria time, right? I can't do anything about that. Except that I have it right here. 6 branches, 1 branch, 3 branch, 2 branch, 2 branch. 13 corporate branches. 13 corporate branches. Right here. I don't know what you thought you were getting.